What's up, Flaniverse? Wanted to start reviewing some DraftKings teams here. At least get one onto the DraftKings playlist. So was looking through some of my DraftKings drafts. This one I thought was a pretty good team. Most of the teams I've reviewed so far, I have not been super happy with how they turned out. Pretty happy with how this one turned out. Haven't looked closely at. Maybe there are a few places where I would have done things different in retrospect, but I think this one, for the most part, went pretty well for me. This is me. I'm NC Orfield 8K on DraftKings. Here's the Flaniverse avatar. By the way, if you are not already in the Flaniverse Discord, highly recommend joining it. We're reviewing best ball teams, playoff best ball teams in there. So if you want people to take a look at a team that you have drafted for playoff best ball, feel free to join the Flaniverse Discord. The link is in the description of this video. And of course, on DraftKings, you can use the avatar if you want to, the Flaniverse avatar. Love to see people using it. Not a ton of people using the Flaniverse avatar so far, but trying to grow the movement of people using the Flaniverse avatar. All right, so here I got the first pick. For me, it's I basically always go with Josh Allen. You could make a case for Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson, or even Mahomes or Goff, whatever team's the likeliest to make the Super Bowl. I go Josh Allen for a couple of reasons. One of them, he's the Bills have some of the best odds of making the Super Bowl. Josh Allen is just a great fantasy producer. So that's a difference from Mahomes, Goff to some extent. Allen is just in a league of his own, or matched only by a couple others, even close in terms of fantasy production. So really strong odds of making it to the Super Bowl. Really strong fantasy producer. But then the other thing that sets him apart from Lamar Jackson for me is you can get his running back. And obviously, if it's the Ravens to make the Super Bowl, you're going to wish you had Lamar anyway, but easier to build team stacks with the Bills on both sites. So taking Allen most of the time, I think majority of the time, you're going to be able to get Cook with your second pick. And that's an auto click for me anytime Cook is there, with maybe some rare exceptions if things get really weird and I can get something super unique at the 2-3 turn. But for the most part, I'm always taking Cook when he comes back to me. And then I always take Lamar at 2, by the way. So it's, I'm taking Allen at 1, but then I still really like, making Lamar or Hurts teams. But I go with Allen when I can. I go with Cook if he makes it back to me. This one, things went according to plan. Got Cook back to me. And then I was able to add on AJ Brown, which is, I think, pretty uncommon, being able to take AJ Brown at the 2-3 turn. I haven't done as many drafts on DraftKings, admittedly, so it's possible that maybe this isn't as unique as I think it is, but felt pretty good about adding on AJ Brown to an Allen Cook team. And then I think Crazy Carl here is helping me out he goes Gibbs. Hurts did not. I guess he was probably hoping for AJ Brown to make it back to him. So that's unfortunate for him, obviously. But we've got the 2-hole starting with 3 running backs, 3-hole taking 2 quarterbacks in the top 4. Things went pretty well for me in the draft. So I start Allen, Cook, Brown comes back to me, and DeVonta Smith is there. So I think this is fairly rare to be able to get Josh Allen, Cook, AJ Brown, and DeVonta Smith, and Khalil Shakir is still there, which is almost just as important. I get the wide receiver 1 for my quarterback. So now I've got quarterback with top running back and his top wide receiver. Of course, I need to worry about tight ends in this one as well, but feeling good about how this team is going. The only thing I need to complete a Bills-Eagles Super Bowl at this point is a tight end. And as you can probably already see on the screen, going to get there with the next one. So we go around the turn, comes back to me now. Amari Cooper did go here. So yeah, I have no regrets. I was thinking man, it would have been nice to get Amari Cooper on this team. And sometimes he goes pretty late, but he actually went at pick 31 here. So I think a little bit ahead of ADP. So that was never an option for me. So I went with Kincaid, add him onto the stack. And then Dallas Goedert also there. So I have 2 tight ends who are pretty good fantasy producers who are also both available in round 1. So I'm feeling really good about this team. I've got a full roster, including the flex here and a bench player. So now I've got some optionality on this team. Goes around, comes back to me, and Bucky Irving is still there. And I build up a Buffalo stack. So now if I can get Tampa as another potential Super Bowl matchup, since I've got a lot of Buffalo, you don't need much from other NFC teams for another potential Super Bowl. So I think Bucky Irving was a strong pick in this one. My next pick was Courtland Sutton, which obviously I think this draft was before playoff matchups were set. So I didn't know Denver was going to be playing Buffalo in the first round. So I don't love Courtland Sutton opposite my Buffalo stack because ideally for this, he's going to be eliminated in the first round. Still, maybe he puts up a score that I need to advance this team, but probably a pick that I would have done differently if I had known that he was going to be playing Buffalo in round one. So now the only downside to this team is I don't have a ton of the Buffalo pass catchers or receivers in particular. So I've got quarterback with top receiver, and I have the running back, so feel good about that. And I do have the top tight end, but I just have one of the primary receivers for the Bills. Keon Coleman also went at 58 here. So I went Sutton over Coleman, which I probably regret that pick. Probably would have taken Coleman here in retrospect. But sometimes they'll make it back to pick 60. Did not in this case. So I went with Hollywood Brown, which I think was a good pick because I already have a ton of first round equity. The Bills, awesome first round equity. The Eagles, awesome first round equity. So I've got a ton of advancement pieces. So having a strong player that is going to be there in round two to help your team. So somebody who can, add on to some potential big scores in weeks rounds 2 and 3. I think it's just a strong pick for this team and a potential conference championship matchup. So these teams could both be still live, the Bills and the Chiefs, for the conference championship. And then I added on Samaje Perine for kind of the same reason, just adding on another player that is likely to be there in the conference championship. I don't know that Perine is my favorite pick here. I've already got 2 running backs, but I do sometimes have concerns about when I have quarterback and running back from the same team. I always try to do it, but I also have concerns about them spiking in the same week. Certainly it could happen. We've seen it happen where both Allen and Cook have big weeks in the same week, but I don't love relying on it. Of course, I already have Bucky covering here, so I think I was probably good on that front. I already have a really strong round 1 contributor at running back, even if James Cook doesn't get there. So I don't think that Perine was the best pick for me. I think probably I could have taken, I don't think either of the other backup Buffalo running backs have been taken. I think those would have been Ty Johnson would have been a better pick for me on this one, maybe even Ray Davis. So I do think Perine was a bit of a mistake, but that's the route I went, and I'm okay with it. I don't think it's the worst pick. And then finally, I added on Curtis Samuel. As you can see in my queue, Mac Hollins was still there. Mac Hollins probably the better pick overall, but Curtis Samuel, I just gadgety. I don't know if he's healthy. I think he's going to have a role. So to me, it's kind of a coin toss. Maybe I'm wrong. I've heard other people say that. I think I heard Kyle Dvorak say on a stream yesterday that he thinks that it's Mac Hollins over Curtis Samuel pretty clearly. I'm not sure that it's that clear. Just because I think Curtis Samuel, they could just do more gadgety stuff for him in the playoffs. But yeah, that would have been another option. I think I'm okay with Curtis Samuel here. So ultimately, I feel pretty good about this team, and I'll throw the full team up here. 1 second. So here is the final team. So I've got Josh Allen at quarterback, James Cook at running back, AJ Brown and DeVonta Smith, with Dalton Kincaid and Khalil Shakir as another potential wide receiver, but currently my top flex option, and then Dallas Goedert as an alternate tight end option. Bucky Irving to provide some extra firepower, particularly in round 1, hopefully in round 2 also for this team. So Bucky Irving, I think, is a pretty strong addition to this team with his fantasy upside. Courtland Sutton, again, don't love the pick because he's playing Buffalo in round 1, but could help me advance from round 1. Only 1 out of 6 advance in round 1. So, you can make an argument for that round 1 game stack, sort of. Hollywood Brown, then coming in round 2. So maybe Sutton does it in round 1. They get eliminated, and then it's Hollywood Brown comes in and puts up 20 for me in round 2. We're hoping for Perine. I do sort of regret the pick. Feel like I should have gone with maybe Ty Johnson. And then Curtis Samuel. I wanted one more Buffalo receiver because now I have, even if it's not the Eagles on the NFC side, if it's Buffalo, Detroit, or something, some other NFC matchup, I think I have a full. Let's see, I've got Allen, Cook, Shakir, Samuel, Kincaid. Oh, do I not have a full team? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I don't have a full Buffalo squad. So I really do regret that Perine pick. I think that one would have been better off as Ty Johnson there, because then I could have a full Buffalo team even without having the NFC side, just get 6 players from Buffalo, and that's going to help you quite a bit in the Super Bowl. You're probably not going to win it with just 6 players from Buffalo. Probably somebody's going to have somebody you want from the NFC side, but still nice to have, like, to get closer to the top of the tournament. So I am reliant on, I mean, ideally the Eagles. This would be an awesome match. Like, if I can get this through to the Super Bowl and it's Bills Eagles, that would be sweet. If it is the Bucks, it's live. That one would still be okay. So I feel pretty good about this team. I think that there are a couple. The biggest regret is the Perine pick. Sutton, to some extent, I wish that I had gone a different route there, but didn't know at the time that they were going to be playing each other in the first round. But ultimately, I think a lot of firepower for this team throughout the playoffs, especially if it is a Buffalo Philadelphia Super Bowl. So that's it. That's my first review of a DraftKings team. Let me know what you think about this team, what you think maybe I should have done differently. And of course, join the Flaniverse Discord if you want to converse with people about your own teams, have any other things you want to discuss related to playoff best ball there. All right, and link is in the description of this video. All right, thanks guys. Catch you later.